The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I am the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar topic is on the social media aspects of BNI Connect. So all of the things within BNI Connect that you can do to find, connect with, and interact with other members, both within your chapter and members in BNI around the world. This is a live webinar, so if you have any questions as we're going through any of the topics of conversation today, please do feel free to use the questions control panel and ask your questions. You can type your questions right in, and I do monitor those questions as we're going through the webinar. This webinar is scheduled for 30 minutes of content, so at the end of the 30 minutes, I will open it up for questions, and I am always happy to stay on these webinars for as long as people have questions, until every single question is answered. This webinar is being recorded. To find it later, there are two places where you can find the recorded webinars. The first of which is on our YouTube site. If you go to youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, or do a search for BNI Connect Global on YouTube, this is our recorded webinar section. Also have some messages from Dr. Meisner up there, as well as tons and tons of content, all the different webinars that we have offered and recorded over the past couple of months. You can also find them on our support site. If you go to support.bniconnect.com, here's a listing of our upcoming webinars, but if you scroll down to the bottom in the training section, you'll see each month we have the recorded webinars that are posted in one place. So you can see all of the webinars that took place that month and review them there. So let's get started with today's content. When it comes to social media, one of the most important things that you can do is to make sure that you are building up some good VCP, visibility plus credibility equals profitability, by making sure that your profile is filled out. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple of months ago, I was sitting here in my office and one of my clients walked in, and the client said to me, "Hey, by the way, I have somebody in-house that does all my books, but they need a little bit more advanced help. They need a QuickBooks certified consultant that can teach them some things and do some advanced things in QuickBooks with us." I said, "That is awesome. I have a QuickBooks certified consultant in my chapter. Great. I really wanted to use BNI Connect to pass that referral." So what I did was I went to our regional website. Now I'm using a different regional website. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus here. And I did a search for that member. So I searched for that member's name, I found the member in the list, and what I wanted to do was to take this page that came up here and print it out and give it to my client that was standing right there, because I expected it to have a lot of information on it. Unfortunately, for this member in my chapter, this is what I came up with. Basically, it didn't have much of anything. It didn't have a picture. It didn't have any social media links. It didn't have anything about his business. I was really hoping to pass over more than just a business card. So what I ended up having to do was take out a little piece of paper, write his phone number down on a piece of paper, and hand that over to my client. Now, if somebody had looked up me, for example, so let's say somebody was looking for me in BNI Connect, and they were looking for my services, and they went to find me, and let's say they put my name in here, and they came to my profile in BNI Connect, this is a little bit more complete. So you'll see that it has my business description, it has my name, it has all my social media links, it has what a good referral is for me, it has my top product, my top problem solved, my phone numbers, my website, my address. All of the information is there, my profile, my picture, my logo. Much more complete. So right away, we're building some visibility and credibility. So as we're talking about over the next hour, connecting, or a half hour, connecting with people in BNI Connect, we want to make sure that you're putting your best face forward. So do take some time to fill out your profile in BNI Connect, and it makes a difference. We do have a couple of success stories here. Take a look at this SuccessNet article if you have a chance. Go to successnet.com and do a search for BNI Connect and Microsoft. What you'll see is that this member, who's a member in the Long Island region, Somebody needed to refer Microsoft to this person, and she was the only one that had a completed profile in BNI Connect that these people could find. So she ended up landing Microsoft as a referral just by having a complete profile. Here's another member in the Southern California region. Let me see if I can find her story. But she also, just by having a social media profile, having her BNI Connect profile filled out, she was able to make connections in BNI Connect for real estate needs. And there's another one here from SuccessNet that, again, by having her profile filled out, she's been able to connect with other florists around the world to create a social media group in order to pass referrals and share ideas back and forth. Now, to fill out your profile, it's fairly easy to do. All you need to do is log into BNI Connect and click on this My Account button in the upper right-hand corner. Once we click on the My Account button, it will take you into your profile pages where all of the information for your profile is stored. So on the first page, we just have the My Business. This is an elevator pitch about your business. So take a few minutes to fill that out. Your keywords, which is how people find you when they don't know your name. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. You can also create your own username, change your memorable question and answer, choose your language, and upload your photo and company logo. All of your contact information is on the tab with the telephone on it, including all of your social media profile links, so your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your blog, your YouTube, your Pinterest. A couple of tabs over, we have our bio. So there's a number of different pieces to the bio. This is the traditional bio that you would use before your 10-minute presentation. You can store that within BNI Connect. A few commercials, and we'll see why it's important to fill out your commercials in BNI Connect as well. Your gains profile, goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills. And finally, your tops profile. Now, let's go back to the first tab of your My Account button here and take a look at the main profile. Now, one of the most important things that we can do when it comes to getting found in BNI Connect is to use the keywords strategically. Again, keywords are how people are going to find you when they don't know your name. So when somebody's looking for, let's say, a limo driver in Florida, or a florist in California, or a bookkeeper in New Jersey, they're not going to know your name. So you need to have your keywords set up in order to find those. Let me show you a quick example. Now, there's two places that you can be found in BNI Connect. There's the public side of BNI Connect, and that's your regional websites. So wherever you might be located, let's say you're in Connecticut, your regional website is bniconnecticut.com, bnict.com. I happen to be a member and a director here in the Rhode Island region. Our regional website is bniri.com. Now, the difference with the regional website and the inside of BNI Connect is that this particular portion is open to the public. So past members and people that maybe just have heard about BNI, and even people just doing a random Google search, can access these regional websites and see all of the members and all of your profiles within the system. On the inside of BNI Connect, all of us as BNI members are together in a global community, and we can only access other members through there. So you do have to be a member to be on the inside of BNI Connect. But let's say that, for example, somebody is looking for computer support. I happen to own a computer support business. So if somebody was trying to find computer support here in Rhode Island, what they would probably do is type a keyword in of computer. And they would come up with a list of 12 people in the Rhode Island and Southeastern Mass area that match that for a keyword. What that means is that those people have the word computer somewhere in their keywords. Now, here's the problem. People can find me, they're going to give me a call, or one of these 12 people they're going to give a call to. Well, we have about 1,600 members in this area, about 50 chapters. I know for a fact that there are way more than 12 people that do something with computers here in this area. Going back, let's say that instead of putting a keyword in, I just did the drop down for the profession for computer. and I click Find. Now we have a list of about 66 people. That seems a little bit more accurate, but what that means to me is that 50 or so people, 54 people haven't taken the time to put their keywords in order to be found in BNI Connect. Now, that's the outside of BNI Connect. So this is only going to find people within my particular region. But what we may want to do is to connect with other BNI members around the world. Now, the way that we connect with other people around the world is by clicking on this magnifying glass. So we're going to search for people. So let's say that I would like to connect with somebody in BNI. Now, this will allow us to do a search of the entire BNI directory of about 120,000 members worldwide. Now, we do need to search one country at a time, but let's say that I just wanted to find somebody. Let's see. We have a couple of people on the webinar today. Lee Chu is on the webinar today, so I'm going to do a search for Lee and see if I can connect with Lee. So I would type her name in and click Search. And here is Lee. So I can click on Lee if I'd like more information, or if I know Lee already, I can just send her a connection request by clicking the plus button. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on Lee and choose to open in a new tab. And I can see that Lee has her picture up. She works for BNI. I have her phone number, her email address, and this looks like somebody that I would like to connect to. So what I'd like to do is to send Lee a connection request. I do that by clicking Add Lee to my connections, or again, right in the search here, I can click this plus sign. Both do the exact same thing. So this just starts a message to Lee and says, "Hi Lee, I'd like to add you to my connections." Now I can customize this message if I'd like to. I can say, thanks for being on the webinar today. And then I would like to add you to my connections, and I can submit this. And Vineet, I do see that you have a question up here. I'll get to that question in just a second. And now this will bring me back, and I can do a search to connect with somebody else. Now let's say that you don't know somebody's name, and again, here's where the keywords are going to come into effect. So let's say I'd like to look for somebody that has computer in their keywords, and let's say I'm looking for computer people in the UK that I'd like to connect with, and I can click Search Members. And what this will do is it'll go through all of the members who have an address in the United Kingdom, and we'll come back with a keyword of computer. And it looks like I have a list of about 160 people in the UK. Now, I think I met somebody at a conference once that his name was Chris. Can't remember his last name. Let's see if I can find him now. There's a secondary search here that comes in very handy as well. And this is a filter. So what it does is it'll filter this information based on what you type in this box. So let's say I start typing the name Chris. What this will do is it will just filter out all of the Chris's that have showed up in my results without losing my initial search. So I can take a look at Chris and nope, I guess it wasn't a Chris. Maybe I need to choose another name so I can delete this, and you can see that my original list comes back. So maybe it was Bob, so I can start typing Bob, and we have a couple of different matches for that. We can see that Bobby Mitchell, that came up with Bob, but also Stephen Trevor, because the name of his company is Bob's Computers. And again, if I'd like to connect with those people, I can click the plus sign. I can customize the message. Maybe I wanted to say to Bob, hey, I'm another computer guy here in the United States, and I'd like to make a connection with you, and introduce myself to him in order to make a connection. Once I click submit, Bobby will get a notification that I'm looking to connect with him, and then he'll need to accept that invitation so that we become connected at that point. So now if anybody would like to connect with me, please do. Put my name, Jeremy Walsh. I'm here in the United States. And click on Search Members. And send me a connection request. I would love to connect with you. So now what do you do after you've sent these connection requests? How do you see who you're connected with? Well, the place to do that is, I'm going to go back to my home screen here. There's two ways to get into that function, and the first of which is to click on the My Network tab that's on your home screen. And we can see here we have our connections. I have 278 connections in BNI Connect, and it'll list the first couple of them here for me. If I'd like to go see the rest of them, I would click on this Manage button. The other thing you could do from any screen is click on Network, Connections. And this will take you into the Connections Management function. Now, from the connections, this is laid out very similar to an address book. So we have a list of people both on our left-hand side and our right-hand side. This is just a names list, so I can scroll through and see the people I'm connected to. This list also has their photos next to it. Now, once I click on one of the connections, either through the left or the right, what I'll see is a little bit more about their profile. So this is a modified, shortened version of the profile that just has a couple of pieces of information. It also allows me to send them an internal message that sends them an in-mail, which is just within BNI Connect. I could also choose to give Deanna a testimonial. I could view her full profile, or I can remove this person from my connections. Now, one thing to note is that everybody should have some connections in here. All of the people that are in your chapter, you will be connected to automatically by default. So those connections are managed by the system. So as people join your chapter and are accepted into your chapter, they will become a connection for you. As people leave the chapter and are dropped from BNI Connect, then they will come out of your connections. So for people that are in your chapter, for example, Abby Valino is a graphics person in my chapter. You can see that I do not have the option to remove Abby from my connections because she's a member of my chapter, and that's handled by the system. But I can still send her a message. I can still ask her for a testimonial, or I could give her a testimonial, or I can go and view her full internal profile. So you may be wondering, what does my internal profile look like? Now, the way you can check to see what other people see when they see you, click on this profile button down at the bottom of the screen, and this will take you to your personal profile. So you can see that when people view you in BNI Connect, this is what they're going to see, assuming they have full visibility of your profile. So they'll see all the different roles that you're involved with. They'll see your name, your industry, your My Business description, your keywords, your company, your logo, your contact information. They'll also see your bio. So they'll see your 60-second presentations, and this is why it's a good idea to fill out some 60-second presentations on your profile. So as I said before, there's about 120,000 active members in BNI Connect right now. I can almost guarantee that 119,950 of them will probably never be at one of your chapter meetings to hear you say your 60-second commercial. This is a way that you can give some added visibility and credibility to yourself as a member by having people view and read your 60-second commercials. They can also see your gains profile. So this is a great way to do a gains exchange before a one-to-one meeting. And they can also see your tops profile. People can also see your connections. So looking at my profile, people could see all of the people that I'm connected to. This is very similar to LinkedIn, where we can see our first-level connections, our second-level connections, and our third-level connections. The thumbs up page has your testimonials. So these are testimonials that other BNI members have left for you that will display on your profile. There's also a photo sharing gallery where you can display and share some photos, as well as if clients give you testimonials, a great thing to do is to turn those into picture files, either a JPEG or a GIF or a PNG file, and upload those into the photo sharing. And then finally, the social media groups. People can see which social media groups you're involved with. Now, the other great way to go through your connections in BNI Connect and to connect with other people is to see who other people are connected to. So, for example, Bruno Alexander, he's one of my connections, and he's a director in France. So if I'd like to see who he's connected to, one thing I could do is look at Bruno's profile. And if I look at Bruno's connections, what I can do is see if there's anybody else that I should be connected with that I would like to get to know better. For example, maybe I would like to be connected with Mark Williams. So I could click through on this profile and now look at this profile, and if I'm not already connected, I can send a connection request to this person. But it doesn't stop there. We can also go in as many levels deeper as we would like by clicking on that person's connections. And perhaps I would like to see this person. It says Anna Shaw. And if I'd like to make a connection with Anna, I could click on the connection there as well. And you can keep doing this all the way through. There is no limit to the number of levels that you can go within people's connections. Let's go back to our connections. So I'm going to go to Network Connections. And once you've sent people these connection requests, people do need to receive and accept those connection requests. The place to do that is under Network Connections. And you'll see at the bottom here, there's a folder that has Received Requests. And what we'll see here is the people that have sent me a connection request. And I recognize a couple of people from the call today. So thank you for sending me connection requests. To accept them, you can just click the Accept button. If you'd like to, you can read the message first before accepting it. So I'm going to go ahead and accept Missy's connection request here. And Kathleen's. And if you don't know the person, you can choose to also ignore that connection request, or you can reject that connection request. And I'll accept Jim's as well. Thank you all for connecting with me. Now, once people are in your connections, one thing that you can do is to give people testimonials. This is a great credibility builder. Again, we always talk about visibility plus credibility equals profitability. Once you connect with people, you can give them a testimonial. A couple of questions in here. Carol has a question. If I reject their connection request, do they see that rejection? And yes, they will be notified of the rejection if you choose to reject it. If you just would like to not connect with them and not have them get notified, you could choose the ignore button. So hopefully that answers your question there, Carol. Let me see, we have a couple of other questions here. Nancy asks, BNI Connect won't accept my logo. Takes the photo with no problem. Any idea what I'm doing wrong? Nancy, if you are, do you happen to be using a Mac? And if you do happen to be using a Mac, there is basically a bug in the Mac itself with the version of Flash Player that you might be using. So some versions of Mac and Flash, what it'll do is it'll tell you that it's an invalid file when you're uploading it. Really what that is an error message that the upload component has caused Flash to crash on the Mac. It doesn't seem to happen on PCs, and it doesn't seem to happen on all Macs. It's just one specific version of Mac. So one thing that it may help, if you can either send that in to us here at support and we'll happily upload that for you, or to possibly try this process on a PC. or another browser. The other thing you can do is try to completely uninstall Flash from your Mac and then reinstall the latest version. Okay, hopefully that helps, Nancy. All right, and Vineet, I do see that you have a couple of questions regarding the, I think they're with the online slips, so I'm going to get to those right at the end of this, part of the content. Okay, going back to the connections, one thing that you can do is to leave testimonials for other people in BNI Connect, but you do have to be connected with them first, and that's the place to leave somebody a testimonial. So if I go back to all my connections here, and let's say that I needed or wanted to leave a testimonial for Bianca. What I would do is click onto her account here, and then I would choose Give Bianca a Testimonial. All I would need to do here is to type out my testimonial. I'm not actually going to send this. And then click Submit. That would send this testimonial over to this person's profile. Now, once you've received a testimonial, you can manage those testimonials by clicking on this Testimonials button or going into Network, Testimonials. Both will take you to the same place. Once we're in the testimonials, we can see all of the testimonials that you've received. So you can see I've received 8 testimonials. By clicking on those testimonials, you can reread them, and you can also choose whether or not they show on your profile. So if I like this testimonial, but I would like it to remain a personal testimonial, I don't want other people to see it, I could uncheck this, and that testimonial would no longer appear on my profile. If I wanted to remove this testimonial completely, I could click the Delete Testimonial button, and that would allow this person to either give me a new testimonial or it would just remove it from my profile. In the testimonial management, you can also see the testimonials that you have given to other people. So by clicking on that, I can see I've given 15 testimonials to other people, and I can go in and review these testimonials if I'd like to by clicking on that person's name, and it will show me the testimonial that I left for that person. And when people request a testimonial of you, that will show up in your testimonial requests. So you can see that Rick Tobin has asked me to give him a testimonial that I have not acted on yet, but if I wanted to, I could click Give to now give this testimonial. I could ignore this, or I could reject this request. All right, we only have a couple of minutes before the bottom of the hour, so the one thing that I would like to show you next is the groups functionality. Now, this is where we take the power of the global network of BNI Connect and we bring it all together. And these are the discussion groups. So over the past couple of years, people have created well over 2,000 discussion groups on all sorts of topics. And the way I look at this is it's kind of like doing a one-to-one globally with other members around the world. So to get to the groups function, you can either click on My Network, and under Groups, click on Manage. You could also go to Network Groups, and this will take us into the Groups functionality. Now, looking at this, I can see that there's 2,429 groups right now within BNI Connect. By default, it's going to sort these groups by the ones with the most recent activity. Now we can go through and we can take a look at groups. We can just click page by page by page and take a look at all the groups that are out there. You can see there's groups on manufacturing and advertising and Christian networking and Middletown moneymakers. So there's tons of different groups out there. You can also search for groups, and the way to do that is to click on the magnifying glass. This will bring a little drop down. You can search by keyword or creator. For example, what if I wanted to search for all of the groups that Dr. Meisner has created? I could just do a search for Meisner and click search, and we can see that Dr. Meisner has created 2 groups. One is from the founder, and one is Why BNI. So I'm already a member of both of those groups, but if I wasn't, what I would see over here is an option that would say Join Group. So let's just go back here. And you can see this BNI Global Property Power Team. I'm not a part of this group, so we can see that it says Join Group. Now, if you'd like to see what these groups are talking about, just click on the group name. So here's a group that I created called BNI Connect Webinars, and it's just to announce the upcoming webinars and receive kudos and feedback and ideas for suggestions for topics. And you can see that I have in here, there's 3 topics of conversation. You can also take a look and see all the participants that are in the group. And by the way, you can click on these people to go to their profile and connect with them from here as well. And we can also see the details of the group. Once we look at that, we can click on the topic if we'd like to read further on that. Even if you're not a member, most of the time you can also post a message in that group. But becoming a member of the group allows you to get the notifications for the group as well. And I can read through all of the different topics of conversation here. You can also create up to 7 of your own groups. So if I go back to the Network Groups home screen here, what you'll see is the option to add a group. So if you'd like to start your own conversation, you can do that by clicking on Add Group. Just need to give the group a name. I'm going to call this Test, 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 Test. What type of group is it going to be? Can people just view the group, or can they view and post to the group? Is this going to be an open group, meaning anybody can search for it and join this group? Is it going to be an invite only, meaning you are going to control the membership of the group and they can only join the group if you personally invite them? Or can it be that you can invite people and then once people come onto the group, they can invite people as well? You just need to give the group a description. What are you going to be talking about? What is the topics of conversation going to be? And then you can choose people from your list of contacts to invite to that group. Once you submit this group, the group will be created and you can start having a conversation. All right, we are at the bottom of the hour, so before I tackle the questions, anybody that does need to leave right away at the bottom of the hour, I do want to thank you for your time today. This full webinar, including all of the questions that are going to be answered now, will be recorded. It will be made available on our YouTube channel very shortly, probably in the next day or two. And I would love for you to join us there, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. If you have an opportunity, please also join us on Facebook, facebook.com/BNI Connect Global, where we do webinar announcements and tips and tricks and all sorts of things on our Facebook channel as well. And for those of you that do need to leave right away, a good referral for me is if you found this helpful, please let your chapters know about them. Please go back to your executive director, to your regional team, to your chapters, and let people know about these webinars. We hold anywhere from 12 to 20 live webinars per month, and we'd love to have people join us. So let me go back and start answering some of these questions. So it looks like we have about a dozen or so questions. Vineet asks, for one-to-ones, when I initiate a visit to another member's office, do we both submit a one-to-one slip in our next Friday meeting? So you're talking about the online slips, which is a different topic, but I'm happy to answer that question. With the online slips, so going back to the My Business page, if I was to enter a one-to-one online, you would select the person from your chapter that you met with, and then you can select who did who set up the meeting. When we submit these slips online for the one-to-ones, only one person needs to enter the slip. So you'll both get credit for it in your PALMS report, but only one person needs to enter it. If the second person enters or attempts to enter a slip on the same day with the same person, it will send up a warning saying, hey, a slip has already been entered for this date. Are you really sure you want to enter a second one? So hopefully that helps, Vineet. The answer to that is a new topic of conversation during your one-to-ones is who will enter the one-to-one slip for that meeting, because only one person needs to. So let's see, we have another question. Can I access this webinar after the fact? I think that was your question, Carol. And again, you'll be able to find this in a couple of days on youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And there are a couple of copies of this particular webinar up there already. It is mostly the same content with different questions at the end. So here you can see we have one recorded. It was uploaded about a week ago for BNI Connect social media. So you can review that one in the meantime if you'd like to before today's copy gets uploaded. Let's see, Vineet says, when is the right time to submit a thank you for closed business? On contract signing or only when payment is received? Also, if it is an ongoing contract with monthly payments, what should the amount months payment or 12 months payment? Now, Vineet, that's a tricky question, and what I would very much like to say is talk to your executive director or director consultant of your chapter. They can give you more information for exactly how to report the slips based on regional preferences. I can tell you that if you go to Google and do a Google search for BNI Slips Program. So do a search for BNI Slips Program. There's a SuccessNet article that should show up first in the search. And let me see. Oop, you actually want the second one, which is the PDF file. This has a complete description of the Slips program, including a complete description of the how to report thank you for closed business, including when to report it, what to report, whether or not you're reporting net or gross, and so on and so forth. So I know it's kind of a vague answer, Vineet, but again, the details are there, and your executive director will be able to explain that a little bit better for how it's done in your particular region. All right, let's see. Christine asks, if I needed to search for a PBX vendor in another state, where would I do that? Christine, did I answer that question before when we were going through the search? But if not, here's a quick review of that. What we would do is there's two ways to do that, and both have their benefits and drawbacks. If you were looking for, let's say, phone vendors within a specific area, so let's say you only wanted to find people in, for example, Rhode Island, what I would do is go to the regional websites first. So then the reason for that is, let's say that I go to BNIRI.com, which is our Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts. So if you know you're looking for somebody just in that area, sometimes it's easier to use the Find a Member search on the public side because it's filtered to only that region. So you get a smaller subset of information. And you could do a keyword, let's say, of phones, and you could find a couple people here that have phones. But let's say that you're just looking for people anywhere in the United States. What I would do is then do the search through the inside, so log into BNI Connect, and then do a search for the keyword phone. And from here, this is going to pull up all members in the United States that have phone in their profile. Now, here's where you see the difference. This search is going to pull up 472 people. So it might take a while to get through all of those profiles to find the people that you're looking for. You could, of course, put in a specific state or a city. So let's say I'm only looking for people in New York, and I could then click search again, or I can even just use this filter search and put in NY. Some people are going to have NY in it. Some people are going to have it typed out as New York. and that's why it makes it a little bit more complicated to do it from the inside if you're looking for a specific area. So, Christine, I hope that answers your question. Donna Doria asks, Jeremy, I can't upload a photo. What am I doing wrong? Donna, do you happen to be using a Mac? And if so, basically this upload function, I'm going to go back, I'm going to go to my profile here. So she says, no, I'm not using a Mac. The way to upload a photo is to just click on Change Profile Picture, or if you don't have one there, and then click on this Attach Image button. This should allow you to go and find a picture on your computer. So I'm just going to go find something here that I can upload. I'm just going to upload the BNI as a logo. Now at that point you can crop it. Notice the dimensions of the photo. So I can crop this image down if I'd like to. This is probably not a good image because it is a oblong rectangle. But let's say I chose that and I choose Save. What I would have to do at that point is to edit that picture outside of BNI Connect and then choose a better picture. But if I change my profile picture, I can attach another image. I'm going to change this back to my headshot. I'm going to crop this and select the appropriate dimensions. And then save it. And now it'll have my profile picture in there. So Donna, you said you're getting just an X in the box. What browser are you using? Okay, Donna, if you're using Internet Explorer, one of the things is to make sure that you're using Internet Explorer 8 or 9. There are some functions within BNI Connect that, and this is one of them, that you must be using at least version 8 or above. And the other thing is that sometimes compatibility mode might be turned on. Let me switch over to my Internet Explorer browser here. So if you need to check, click on either Tools, About, or Help About, or this little gear About. Make sure that you're using at least version 8 or above. If you are using version 8 or above, one of the problems could be what's called compatibility mode. And see this little blue piece of paper here? It looks like a torn piece of paper. If that is glowing blue, it means you're using compatibility mode, which means it tricks the browser into pretending like it's IE7 again, which, again, kind of defeats the purpose of using a newer browser, but it's necessary on some older websites that don't display properly in the new browser. Unfortunately, though, compatibility mode also turns off some functionality that some newer programs need. And that is the case here in BNI Connect. So you have to make sure that your compatibility mode is turned off, as well as that you're using 8 or above. So hopefully that helps there, Donna. All right, Lisa asks, who do you recommend to connect with? Lisa, that really depends on what you're looking to do. Good people to connect with is possibly other people in your industry that might be in another state or another region that you might be able to have a conversation with and share some ideas with. Next time you have a referral for a family member that might be, you might be in, let's say, Florida and they're in Arkansas, it may be a good idea to try to pass that referral within BNI and connect with people that you might be able to pass that referral to within BNI through BNI Connect. So again, it depends what your goals are, Lisa, as to who you might want to connect with. All right, let's see. We have a couple more questions. How do I upload a PDF to alert my members of a speech I'm going to give? So, Matt, are you talking about your 10-minute presentation or just a speech that you're giving outside of BNI? So, for a speech outside of BNI, what I would do is to definitely talk to your executive director or your director consultant of your chapter. And the reason is that generally we don't like to, for lack of a better term, advertise directly to our members. That would be a great thing to do during maybe a 60-second presentation, and then ask people to email you if they would like more information. But to send a mass email to all of the members of your chapter with that information might be considered outside of what's allowed within BNI. Now, if you do have a legitimate message to send to your chapter, there is a way to very quickly get the email addresses of your chapter. The way to do that is to go to Operations, Chapter, and from there's a function that says Create Email. And the first option here is Email My Chapter. And this will give you a very quick listing of their email addresses that you could then send them a message. The other thing you could do is, if you can get that as a type of either a PNG, a GIF, or a JPEG file, you could do that through your photo booth. And what you can do is click on Network, Picture Gallery, and then you could upload that as a picture here. So you would just click the Upload button, click Attach Image, and again, you just need to save that as a JPEG or a PNG or a GIF file, and then you could upload that, crop it if you need to, give it a title, a description, and click Submit. And that's a great way to share either advertisements such as that, or even testimonials that you receive from outside of BNI Connect. So some people, your clients may give you a testimonial, and you could, again, save those as a JPEG or a GIF file and upload those here. Here's one example of all I did with this was to save the text from an email and save that into a JPEG file just using Microsoft Paint. And here's another one that was just a letter that came in that was saved then as a JPEG file. So I'm not sure if that helps, Matt. All right, we have a couple more questions here. Matt says, when will the YouTube recording of this be available, and will you send the link to those who attended the presentation? The link should be available. It depends on how long it takes to process, and then I have to upload it. So usually it takes a couple of hours for the file to get converted out of the GoToMeeting proprietary format and into the just a regular AVI type of file that I can then upload to YouTube. So it's just a matter of getting the time to do that in between the regular support requests that receive. So usually within a day or two, it will be up onto the YouTube site. And I usually do send out a follow-up email that has those links. But again, it will just be, if you don't get an email, it will just be on youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, as well as in the support section within a couple of days as well. Alice says, what do you think of using Google for your main internet connection? Alice, are you referring to Google Chrome here that I use for mine? I happen to prefer Google Chrome as an internet browser, but again, that's just a personal opinion. I do find it to be fast. I don't have any bugs with it or anything else like that. I haven't noticed any functionality limitations, especially within BNI Connect, and I find it to be fast and convenient to use. But again, there's just as many people that like Firefox and that like Internet Explorer and that like Safari. I can tell you that BNI Connect is tested in Safari, Firefox, and Internet Explorer. Those are the three that it's quote-unquote certified to work in. We don't specifically test it in Chrome, but again, I use it as my primary browser, and I have found absolutely no limitations with it whatsoever. So hopefully that answers your question, Alice, and thank you for being here. All right, I think that was the last question. Do we have any additional questions, comments, or concerns? Carol asked about how many people were on this call. We had about 60 people register for this particular call, 61 as a matter of fact. So we can fit up to 1,000 people on each of these calls. So again, a great referral for me is to please let your chapters know about these, let your fellow members know about these webinars, and I would love to see more people take advantage of them. So excellent. I think that was our last question. And yes, Carol, we do have a global audience. We have people that join these calls from England, from India, from Europe, everywhere in Europe, from South Africa, so all over the place. We have some people, special one for the United Arab Emirates tomorrow. So our very next webinar, if you're wondering, click the little question mark here within BNI Connect, and this will take you to our support site. So our next webinar is on March 28th, and that's the last one for this month, and that is building VCP with BNI Connect. So we're going to go through the BNI Connect profile and go through all of those fields in a much more descriptive manner and give you some information on some good tips and techniques for making sure you're making the most out of your BNI Connect profile. So again, thank you everyone for being here today. It was a pleasure to have you, and I look forward to seeing you all on a future webinar. Happy connecting, everyone. Have a great day.